Thanks, Bram. You know, I've been playing Battlefield as long as I can remember. You know, I've been playing Battlefield as long as I can remember. These games have come a long way. And over the past 16 years, these games have come a long way. Battlefield 4, from 1942 to Bad Company to Battlefield 4, and I'm taking on the most important mission objective I've ever been a part of. Telling all of you about Battlefield 5. So let's deploy because we are live ready to go. My squad's out there, so let's deploy because we are live in London. Let's get the show started. Welcome, everyone, to the Battlefield 5 live reveal. I'm your host for this evening, Trevor Noah, and I'm so excited to be here introducing this new edition of Battlefield, which for some reason everyone has already assumed is Battlefield 5. And not Battlefield V. Could be V. Why not V? Battlefield V could be just as good. Yeah, I do love that fans on Twitter are actually changing the Vs in their profiles for this game, something my mother did many years ago ahead of the curve. And most people don't know this, but the V in my name is actually a 5. Yeah, my name is actually pronounced Trev5 or Noah. Very unique. As a huge fan of these games, I've always loved how captivating the Battlefield is. And today, you'll see that Battlefield 5 has the most immersive battlefield ever. If you've ever been in a battle with me, you know that I'm the most dedicated support class you will ever meet. I'm in the mud, repairing the tanks. You know, I'm laying down mines as tank rushers come in. One time, I even repaired a plane mid-air that might be alive, but I'm sticking with it. Because you see, I love that glorious joy of being the uncelebrated hero in a battle. And this game is going to have tons of moments like that. There are so many new and exciting features coming to you in Battlefield 5 that you will learn about today. The next level of large-scale multiplayer, Battlefield 5 single-player war stories, and we'll start showing you the epic post-launch journey all players will experience when the game is finally released. And you know we've got some other surprises, so why waste time? Let's get straight into it and get the show started. I'm joined now by the producers of Battlefield 5, Andreas Morell, Ryan MacArthur, and Lars Gustafsson, everybody. Gentlemen, I'm not here as a professional anything. I am here as a gamer. I am here as a Battlefield player. I am here to ask only the questions I am interested in. You have made a horrible mistake.
I knew it, I told you.
Let's start at the beginning. You are taking players back to where the Battlefield franchise started, World War II. Now, at this point, are you like those guys, you know, those elderly pilots that they find on an island in the Pacific, you know, who think that the war never ended? Is that who you are right now?
It did. It ended. You told me.
Wish I'd break it to you gently, Lars.
But Lars, why go back to that now?
To be honest with you, it's really... we yearned for years to go back to where it all started about 16 years ago. And you know, technology has evolved and the team has gained so much experience that this is really the game we wanted to build, and that we did.
It's really something the guys back home at DICE are really passionate about, the whole era. Just ask Mr. Battlefield, he was there.
Right, Mr. Battlefield, that's Lars's nickname, by the way. I'm known as Madame Battlefield. Now, players have experienced World War II in so many movies and in games. It's really difficult to come up with a new and fresh perspective. What perspective are you bringing to it with this version of Battlefield? Andreas, will this be more Saving Private Ryan or Inglourious Basterds?
So we've seen all the movies, you know, we play the games, we've been there. I'm pretty sure, at least I can navigate half of France without a map just by playing the games. so for us, going back to where it all began for us, is really about delivering a World War II experience that no one's never seen before. Really kind of hitting on the unseen locations, the untold stories, the unplayed moments.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's really taking you on the journey from the start. And at a go, you will be able to play the German forces, the British forces, and we want to take you on that journey, you know, to exotic places like freezing Scandinavia, it's kind of our home turf, but in Norway, or rugged deserts where the battles took place in Northern Africa, or why not to the ruins of the once so beautiful Rotterdam. So it's really to take you on a journey. And we want to do this with a kind of a fresh and modern take, so really hopefully surprise the players, but also to please them.
You've given me a sneak peek, and so many words come to my mind. I mean, intense, immense, powerful. Ryan, do you have a specific way that you want players to see this Battlefield?
Well, I think the best way we can describe it is immersive. I mean, this needs to feel like the most immersive Battlefield that players have ever played. I mean, we want them to exploit the Battlefield in ways they've never been able to before. I mean, when you look at the chaotic multiplayer that the franchise is known for, and sort of fan classics like Conquest, and some of the new modes that the guys are working on like Airborne, you know, we're going back with war stories, sort of that anthology storytelling that we had, we built in BF1, and telling new stories about men and women that change history. I mean, we get to tell everyone today that co-op is back in Battlefield 5, and that's a huge thing for us. And this is just the beginning. I mean, launch is just the beginning for this game, and we really want to take players on a journey through World War II.
It always feels like it's a journey. That's what it always feels like with Battlefield. Like, one thing I loved about the game was how the maps in the world was constantly changing. You know, it felt like my bedroom at home. I never knew what to expect. And I think when looking at this game, Andreas, what's your vision to take this to the next level?
So we're really building on what we started with previous games. It's really about giving players the most immersive world that they could enter. You should really be grounded in it. Expanding on the movement set that we've done so well, really pushing all these new features that we're going to be talking about.
Right, it sounds great. I'm genuinely excited. I have a few highlights that I'm looking forward to. Let's dive into it and talk about some of the gameplay. Here to do that is Daniel Berlin.
In Battlefield 5, we're expanding the toolbox for the player, giving you access to new abilities to create your own and brand new Battlefield moments. Now there's a deeper connection between the player and the world around you. You will be physically pushed by the shockwaves from explosions. You can experience completely new ways to traverse and tactically maneuver across the battlefield with our overhauled movement system. Our renowned destruction will rip up the terrain, leave chunks of masonry hanging from destroyed buildings, or have high-caliber rounds ripped straight through walls to take out enemies hiding inside. We're also bringing back classic modes, such as Majority Rule Conquest, but we also have new modes and experiences for our unique take on World War II. We're bringing back operations with a bang, and we're calling it Grand Operations. Here, you'll experience multiple game modes as you fight over multiple maps, all wrapped within our narrative journey through historically inspired battles from World War II. With the return of our anthology format for single-player war stories, with new characters to meet and untold stories to discover. Back to you, Trevor.
Now, Daniel just talked about a new multiplayer experience called Grand Operations. And I'm really excited because it sounds to me like you can pilot a giant grand piano like a tank. I'm pretty certain that's what it is, right, Andreas?
I'm not sure about the piano, but it's definitely massive. It's really about reliving all these power fantasies from World War II, like Airborne being power dropped in. And it's operations from Battlefield 1, but bigger. It's really good.
Yeah, I mean, what we want players to feel like is sort of a dynamic player-impacted experience taking place over 4 fictional days. I mean, day 1 starts with you jumping out of an airplane and with the objective to destroy the enemy artillery, with that enemy sort of entrenching themselves to defend and protect. And depending on how the outcome of day 1 goes for you, as the two main forces start to battle over day 2 in a game of breakthrough, with the number of lives you have left remaining, depending on what you did the day before. And then as you continue to push on into new locations, we're going to see things like Conquest Assault, where players continue to fight for that terrain. And assuming, when we see these players end up in a giant stalemate, then they're going to enter day 4, which is Final Stand. And I mean, this is sort of tired, muddy, no resources left. You've got just you, your squad, and one clip. And you all fight to the last man standing with the weight of the world on your shoulders.
So this is a game mode that you may never see if your games are not in a stalemate. You may never get to that 4th map and 4th story then.
Exactly.
That's an exciting way to play the game. I want to know when we can see more of that.
2 weeks. EA Play, Los Angeles. Yeah. You get hands-on multiplayer for the first time if you're there.
So even the reveal of Grand Operations spans across multiple events. Wow. Nice one, guys. I have to say, I heard you guys say that co-op is back, and that's one of my favorite aspects of Battlefield 1. Lars, can you tell me more about that mode?
I definitely can. I mean, I'm happy to say that for the first time since Battlefield 3, co-op is back, and we're calling it Combined Arms. And here it's yet another way to experience that Battlefield sandbox, next to our war stories and the multiplayer. And what we want to do here is to allow you and up to 3 players to go online and step into those shoes of the Pathfinders, those paratroopers that go in behind enemy lines. And here you really only have the soldier next to you, maybe not Brian, but the soldier next to you to rely upon as you move forward, since, getting detected might mean death. And you will soon be struck by resource scarcity. You need to find the tools and find your way to the objective. So stakes are high, and you need to kind of assess, can I push through, or do we need to extract early? It's kind of win or lose. It's up to you.
I've been a huge fan of war stories, the single-player campaign in Battlefield 1. What I truly enjoyed about it was I felt like I was learning about the stories behind the war and playing through the stories of the war, and it didn't always end well. And what I loved is because of that history element, like for instance, I told my little brother, I said, hey, if mom ever catches you playing, just say this is a history class that you're doing on the console. And then what I'll do is I'll tell my mom he was going to do that so she would know that I was always her favorite. And what was great was seeing the story. Lars, like, how is single player going to change in Battlefield 5?
Don't tell this to my kids. Well, are they changing? I mean, to me, I'm happy that you like the war stories. And for us, the war stories are really our opportunity to put the war into perspective. It's really about those human and untold stories of the war. And we try to portray those kind of real and relatable people facing epic warfare. And it's Battlefield after all, so we'll be talking a lot here today about the gameplay improvements. So player agency is key, so you can create your own Battlefield moments. And at the bottom line, it's about allowing you to witness the Second World War, but through the eyes of the men and women that changed the world.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see here, I mean, this is one of the war stories that we're going to be talking about first. I mean, this is our Nordlys story. This is the story of a young woman who is part of the Norwegian resistance fighters fighting the German occupation during World War II. I mean, this is an exploration of emotion and feelings. It's a family story. Right? And this not only sort of really grounds the players in the reality, but sort of sets the context of the World War II that we're trying to create at DICE.
It's not often that you find stories that connect with the emotion of the characters in the story. Instead of just focusing on the explosions and the gunfire, you see that look in her eyes. You want to know what she's thinking, what she's experiencing in that story. Why was it so important for you to focus on the people behind the stories from war?
Well, I think it's important to tell, sort of believable and sort of honest stories and really sort of set the context and sort of maintain that connection to the world that we're trying to create. I think it's important for people to understand where we're coming from and what our particular take is on World War II.
So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go back to Daniel now to cover what you'll take to the battlefield with you.
In Battlefield 5, we're aiming to mirror the immense arsenal of the Second World War. This was a period that saw an explosion in terms of innovation when it comes to weapons and vehicles. You will get to fly iconic airplanes, engage in incredible tank battles, and also unleash secret weapons from World War II. Weapons that are powerful enough to turn the tide of any battle. And with the new fortification system, you can be more strategic than ever in how you choose to defend or advance through the terrain. Back to you guys.
You know, in playing Battlefield, I know everyone in the audience will agree with me, people at home as well. I've always been impressed by the level of realism in the game. I remember once I was playing with a friend who served in Special Forces, and we were talking about our favorite guns, and I was talking about the recoil and what I liked about the sights versus other guns. And he turned to me at one point and he said, "Oh, where did you serve?" And I felt embarrassed because I was like, "Oh, Battlefield 3, that's where I was." And instead of him being angry, he was like, "I didn't know that there was a game that was that immersive, something that really was as true to real without being a war simulation as possible." Guys, tell me about some of your favorite weapons in the game, some of the new vehicles that will be available in Battlefield 5.
I think at first, just by going back to this era, the pool of hardware that we can choose from is immense. There's so much there. And for me, being a vehicle guy, it's really quite a simple choice. It's the Tiger 1.
The Tiger 1 tank?
Yeah, I think it's the most iconic tank from this era. I just think it's amazing.
What do you like about it? That's a weird choice for me.
Have you seen it? I think it's the best.
What, like the looks?
A bit, but also
Are you saying that, are you checking out a tank?
Have you been in a battle with that?
Yeah, but I've never looked at it. I'm like, if I'm on the outside, I'm dying. If I'm on the inside, I'm concentrating. When are you looking? When are you doing this?
You should try third-person camera.
And just run around the tank dying, and everyone's going to be like, "Who's that guy looking at the tank?"
It's come on, it's beautiful.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, good.
So Andreas is a tank guy. Mr. Battlefield Laws, how about you?
I'm with you, Trevor.
Yeah, you think he's weird? I know. Yeah.
We've been trying to hide it, but now it's out. No, the fact that I'm also a support player. I can't hit the barn from the inside, so I need the big clips. And for me, the MG42 is really the weapon I play in the playtest.
Right, my man.
It has that iconic sound that, it sends fear all over the map. And another part of it is the new kind of system which Daniel talked about for high-caliber weapons. So previously, I could make the same impact as a pistol, basically. But this time around, it comes with a punch. So where the pistol gets stuck in the wall, I can rip through. So I can finally make a difference on the battlefield.
Hashtag no more knocking. I like this.
Yes.
All right, so we've got a tank guy. We've got a weapons guy. Ryan?
Well, sort of embarrassing to admit, unlike Lars, I can't hit a barn, period. So for me, it's the toolbox. In Battlefield 1, all players had a gas mask. In Battlefield 5, we're going to replace that gas mask with a toolbox. So that means I can run around the battlefield with my toolbox, setting up fortifications, and sort of really changing the dynamic of the battlefield so that these guys who can actually hit something, I can offer some value on the playing field.
Wait. So fortifications, you just skimmed over that, but what is fortifications?
Well, I mean, this as a support player, I mean, I think this is something you really love. It's something I think is a great addition to the game. It really allows you to sort of, for players who want to focus on the objective. I mean, this is something you can sort of pull out your toolbox. You can build reinforcements. You can reinforce buildings that Andreas has destroyed with his tank. You can build foxholes and set up machine guns so people like Lars can sit there and camp out at choke points. I mean, this is going to change the strategic way people play, both as attackers and defenders.
Was that in response to the gaming community? Because I know as a Battlefield gamer, I always wanted what I didn't have. So first I was going, hey guys, I need destruction. I need places to fall apart. And then at some point I was like, too much destruction. Like there's nothing left. Was this a response?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of esteemed players in here in the studio today and in the community overall who at some point, especially when we're testing, we came to a point where the level was leveled. The world was leveled and you couldn't advance. So basically, this is to counter that and give you an additional kind of toolbox to rebuild. And then you and I can come in as heroes again, and they fortify. We come there and we add an extra heavy machine gun or an AA gun. So it's kind of teamwork once again, and we are the celebrated heroes.
We are the celebrated heroes we deserve to be. I like that, Lars. Thank you. Now that we've learned about the tools, let's hear about the company. Here to tell us more, please welcome Natalie Eek.
Trevor, and yes, the company is something that is completely new to Battlefield 5. It's your personal collection of customized soldiers, weapons, and vehicles that you can tailor and grow as you play. The company is the heart and soul of your personal experience, and the choices you make here for your company actually matters. Not only will your choices affect the way you look, but also how your weapons and vehicles play. As you squad up with your friends, make sure to pick a soldier that complements the rest of your squad to take on the battle ahead. And during the game, adapt to the changing circumstances by calling your company and bring in the right soldier, weapon, or vehicle to suit your situation. Back to you, Trevor.
Andreas, that really sounds awesome. Tell me more about the company and how it works, because you know I know from my years in Battlefield that the group that really plays together stays together.
Now, the company is something that we're super excited about. So for the first time, you can now create your own personal experience with the soldiers you take onto the battlefield. It's really up to you to decide how you want them to play and also how they look. So as you keep playing and you get better, your soldiers will get better with you.
So give me an example of how this would impact me as a support class.
So if you take your support class player you want, and you start playing with that soldier, and you start progressing him, you're going to unlock a set of new abilities, new perks, and sort of these new exotic ways to play the game as a support class, and then unlock new weapons for yourself to play with. You take that machine gun that Lars loves so much, and you level that machine gun up. You make the choices that matter, and then you decide, well, I think this needs its own custom paint job. So you sort of make that machine gun, really make it your own, and then you go in and you grab that sort of iconic support outfit that you really want to wear going into battle. You jump in with some friends and off you go.
You know, it's funny you brought up customization, because I've always believed in Battlefield the team is important, but looking badass is the most important thing. I think anyone who's been in war can agree with this. Please tell me that I can customize my look to be properly badass in the battlefield.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, if it's worth doing looking good.
Right.
So I think, part of the tactical gameplay that comes with Battlefield, I mean, what we want to do is give you the ability to create your own personal identity. So, no more anonymous soldiers. This is your soldiers in their boots going into battle. Their own weapons, customized the way that you want to do it, the gear that you want them to wear. I mean, this is going to feel like it's your own personal arsenal.
And obviously, I want to get as much of that arsenal as I can possibly get. How do I even begin getting all of this gear?
You play the game. I mean, for what we want players is you get rewarded for playing the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty short. It's whatever you want to progress towards, your company, your class, or a specific item, you play the game. And we set out to commit to that you always feel rewarded for what you do, whatever you play.
So you just play to unlock these items. Then I guess I have to ask, and I know it's a sensitive subject, but I'm still going to go there. Is this game going to be pay to win?
No, you can't pay to get an unfair gameplay advantage.
What if I have a lot of money?
Call me.
So you won't be able to pay?
No. So in Battlefield, it's always been about balanced rock, paper, scissors gameplay, and it still is. You really have to, like Les was saying, you have to play the game to earn new gear, and skill is really key.
Okay, but what about Premium Pass? Will it be one of those games where I have to shell out another $50 6 months after I've bought the game? Is that how it works?
Well, I guess I get the fun part of not taking any more of your money as well. But no, there's no more Premium Pass in this game. This means no more.
Wow.
Thank you. It's the least I can do.
Thank you.
Yes. I mean, this means no more paying for maps, no more paying for modes. This is something the community has asked for. This is something the team really believes in. So what we want is a game where people stay together, they play the games together, and they get to go on this journey through World War II together.
That's beautiful. That means I finally lose my nickname, No Maps Noah. This is so dope. All right, well, it's time to learn about what happens after the game launches. So, to tell us all about live service, please welcome back Natalie and Daniel.
So launch is really just the beginning. Tides of War is an epic journey that you and your company will take through World War II. It will bring you an evolving, diverse game that will grow over time as we immerse you and your company in different theaters of war. Playing Battlefield 5 is an experience unlike any other. It will differ from all previous Battlefield games. And the most important thing, it's open to all players.
Yes, and there will always be new battles, new fronts, and rewards on the horizon. And by removing Premium Pass, we are keeping the community together. So this time, there will be no expansion packs, and all players will be able to take part in the same journey through Battlefield 5. And with Tides of War, our players will experience themed chapters of World War II, each spanning over several months. And these will focus on key moments that impacted the outcome of the conflict. Trevor?
This sounds to me like a wild, full ride through World War II, but Lars, like, how big of a journey will this be?
How long is the string? No, I mean, to put it into perspective, this was the World War. And I mean, to me, it's going to be a huge journey. I mean, we want to take you on that journey with chapters from the history. And at the end of it, we really want you to be kind of experiences daily, weekly, and monthly events leading up to kind of the pinnacle of the grand operations and experience to achieve those special assignments, getting treated with extra rewards. So it is about keeping it fresh and constantly evolving, since what we see here and talk about here today is just the beginning. And as you play it through, you start to be taken to a new horizon, new locations, new gameplay, and I mean, stick in for the ride.
It sounds like it's going to be one of those experiences where the more I play, the more cool stuff I can get. I get rewarded for my time. Is that going to be across different modes?
It's really simple. You just have to play the game to earn new cool gear. And it doesn't matter if it's multiplayer or combined arms. Like you see here, you will be able to earn new vehicles, new weapons. It's going to be dog tags and soldier skins, weapon skin. It's all there to really customize your crew to really be standing out on the battlefield the way you want it to be.
Right, it sounds amazing, and I only have one question, and that is, when does this all start?
Well, the game launches in October. So starting November, running through early 2019, we're going to start with our first chapter, which is going to focus on the fall of Europe. So we're going to explore sort of the German mechanized war machine as it pushes its way into Europe. This is going to be live gameplay-focused events. We're going to have thematic rewards tied to this. You know, and we can't wait to talk to the community more about this between as we lead up to launch.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to lie. You guys have definitely raised my analog stick, and I think we've waited long enough. This is the most immersive battlefield yet in a World War II you have never seen before, where launch is just the beginning of the journey. I'm done talking. I think it's time we see this thing. Are you all ready? Well, here it is, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever, the reveal trailer for Battlefield 5.
Games play best on Xbox One.
Wow. Wow. The car, the thing, the man, the boo. You saw the thing, the man, the huh? I hope they got insurance. That was insane. Do you see that?
We did say it.
That was, Andreas, I don't feel like you saw it. I feel like you've seen it before.
I might have seen
The
it
person
before.
jumped on their back and then started shooting while moving on their back.
Yeah. It's cool. That's all I can say.
This is what happens when you live life in a tank, Andreas. That was exciting. Give it up for that one more time. That was an amazing trailer. Oh, wow. So wait, so before we go, am I correct in saying there were some new animations there? There were some new moves that you could do in the game?
There's a few.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Andreas. Thank you, Andreas.
To be honest, I think we should thank the team back home in Stockholm for
Huge call out.
helping us to get to this point. I think they are truly amazing. And the fans. Again, we've been waiting for this moment for so long to be able to reveal what we've been working on.
This is really packed with gameplay, and then, I mean, a lot of this is direct feedback from community, leading to a lot of these improvements. So it's a huge thank you for the support, and once again the team for doing an extraordinary job.
As always.
And I'm pretty sure the look on your face, you know, hits the mark they're going for. I'm pretty sure that was unexpected.
I'm excited. I'm excited. Give it up for the people in Stockholm, please. Let's give it up for the team in Stockholm. Wow. Wow. Battlefield 5 launches worldwide on October 19th. In the meantime, these guys are giving away free expansion packs in Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 4. So just head to battlefield.com for all the details. And next up is EA Play on June 9th, where you'll see multiplayer for the very first time. I hope all of you are as excited as I am for Battlefield 5. To watch that trailer again, go to youtube.com/battlefield. And if you want more info, join some of the team here with Xbox, who are hosting an exclusive post-show on mixer.com/Xbox. That is our show for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. I'm Trevor Noah. Good night. Wow.
To you by Xbox. But before we get into that, let's take a look at that trailer one more time.
Games play best on Xbox One.
Ryan has literally made this in the perfect time possible. But that trailer, every time I watch it, just gets so epic. Like we were saying as it was going on, you notice so many small details every single time you watch it.
Yeah.
So Daniel, favorite part of the trailer? It's like, I know it's like asking like who's your favorite child, but favorite part?
Don't take my favorite moment now. Don't you dare.
Pressure's on.
I think, I mean, I as a designer, I like the things that really contribute to what we're doing with the movement system in general.
Yeah.
To add an additional locomotion to the players. I think it's not something that really sticks out in the trailer like that, but I think the movements that you can actually do is to actually see that as they're moving out of the building, you see the female character actually throwing herself on her back and then backpedaling and then
really
shooting at the same time. So there's an enemy coming at her and she just like poof.
We'll get into all these small little details during the breakdown, but that is a really cool moment. Natalie, what about you?
Definitely the grenade.
You just stole my one.
I know, but that is my favorite. Picking it up and just throwing it, and then it blows up and the plane goes down.
He shoots it out of the sky. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So before we get into that and go properly into the breakdown of the trailer, I also caught up with Trevor Noah just before he went on stage. So let's take a look at that. So Trevor, I've been a big fan of yours for ages, and I've got to say, great fashion sense. I love the jacket.
Thank you very much. Benny over here reporting live. I'm reporting with Trevor Noah. I couldn't even tell who's who.
I know, it's just like you blend into the background.
This is great. You got the memo, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, like, thank you
We're
very
like
much.
twins.
Grab from the swag bag. It's been brilliant.
This is it.
Yeah, so I saw the reveal trailer, and I didn't know you were a gamer until that moment, which got me excited. What are kind of your go-to games?
Man, I have so many go-to games. If I don't have much time, I'll play a game of FIFA. I'll jump in. If I've got like an hour to spare, I'll go for a story in Battlefield, or I'll play something multiplayer-wise. It really depends what pops up, you know. But those are like my go-to. Like if you're looking for me, search for the FIFA, and that's where I'll be.
We'll have to have a game at some point. But like, you're so busy. You're an author. You're a comedian. You also kind of host like a small show.
Right. Yes.
Where do you find the time to play games?
Well, you see, the key is to replace sleep with gaming. This is a technique that I've learned. Right. What you do is every time you thought of sleeping, you play a game in that period.
Just turn on the Xbox and go.
Right. It's an amazing way to live your life. Now, some people would say this is unhealthy. I have come to find that it is very unhealthy.
No, but it's great fun. Like it's perfect. So, we're here obviously at the Battlefield 5 reveal.
Right.
I'm really excited. Like, what are you looking forward to?
Man, you know, when the game finally comes out, I'm most excited for fortifications. Like, you know, if you've played Battlefield for a long time, you probably know about the destruction. You probably know about all the pieces of the buildings falling down around you. And I mean, at one point, people were like, give us more destruction. And then people were like, well, there's too much destruction. There's nothing left. And now you live in a world where you can build up as the game is being played, which is really beautiful.
I can't wait to just be that support class and just piling up the sandbags.
Right.
Like,
that's me.
Yeah.
They call me Sandbag Sam where I'm from. My name is not Sam, but they just went with it anyway.
Yeah, so so with Xbox, you've got EA Access, which is going to give you early access to Battlefield 5.
Very important.
On October 11th, are you going to be there day one, getting your hands on?
You have to be, Benny. You see, this is one of those experiences where if you get in early enough, you can scout out your locations. The most important thing for me is to get a sense of the environment. A lot of people don't realize that wind plays a big role in the game. And so as a wind gamer, trademark, I have found that it's best to get in, understand the wind, understand the feeling of the game before everyone comes in and clouds it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes gamers will give away their location just by upwind, downwind.
It gives you an advantage.
Wind player.
This is actually a good segue into finding the type of Battlefield player you are. So I've got some quick fire questions.
Right, the great type.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Solo or squad player?
Squad player all the way, man.
Squad player, team player, it's good. Tank or plane?
Oh, tank. I'm afraid of heights.
No one goes for the plane.
No, because it's like you're up in the sky.
I always crash personally.
Oh, yeah, but that's all that happens in the plane. Yeah. Everyone's a hero in the plane, and then they kill themselves.
All right. Long range or close quarters?
You know, that's a tough one. It depends on the map. So, I mean, if we're playing like a tight little map, then I like to be the long range guy because no one else is doing that.
You're not gonna die then as well.
Right, and then you're just on the outside watching the chaos, people popping out of buildings. But if it's the other way, then I go the other way.
Final thing, are you a leader or a follower?
I'm an amazing follower. I'm so good at following, sometimes I tell people how to lead me because they don't know how to do it. So I'm like, yo, I'm trying to follow you right now, and they don't understand. You know what I'm talking about. So they'll be a team leader, and I'll be, hey, man, you gotta lead me like this.
Do you take over the leader effectively?
Well, what I do, no. I don't like to think of it like that. I think what I do is I encourage people to follow my orders on how to be effective leaders when having a follower like me.
It'd be
really important.
So I'd like to find this out. So, you know, like, can I get your like gamer tag at some point and like we can like squad up and play?
Well, you know what? I'm going to make it interesting because there's all this customization happening in Battlefield 5. Let's do this. You just wear exactly what I'm wearing, and then I'll find you in the game.
Okay.
You just customize it. Just like put a little tattoo type thing. Just like the two of us.
So I'll
Just
just copy it and then we'll just kind
just
of
like a
go
little V or something, just where I can see it, and then I'll know that that 5 is all about me.
we can do that. We
yeah,
can do
and
that.
then there'll be that moment in the game where I'm like, Benny,
I'm like,
huh?
Trevor?
Huh?
It works. It does work. Like, it's the thing though. It's the jacket customization. Everyone's just going to be running around as Trevor and Benny. It's going to pay off. Though I think it's more Trevor. So I'm really excited about getting into this trailer. We've also been joined by Ryan, who's just like, how's the reveal? Did you enjoy it? I asked this question. Favorite part of the trailer?
Favorite part of the trailer, I guess, to me, there's, like, I guess, like, if I can do it, I got 2. I mean, I love.
That's just cheating. You can't.
I know.
Two. Like,
But I
favorite
mean,
part.
just overall, I mean, that thing, every time I see it, it's just, that is unexpected. The whole thing, the whole way through, just wows me every time. But I also just love the truck just falling from the sky and
That is
just
cool.
driving into the ground. Every time it gets me.
This is the thing. We are now going to start doing the full breakdown of the trailer. So we're going to start off, right, talking about customization because it's been tapped on already during the reveal trailer. There is so much customization to the game, and you see so many different parts of that in the trailer itself. So if we start, like, just taking a look, because it kicks off with that kind of, that horse's head on the vehicle as well. Like, vehicle customization for the first time as well, which looks amazing, other than the guy falling over it. What other major kind of points do you think people should pick up from for the trailer, Daniel?
Major points from this beginning segment. Well, like I mentioned before, you see the character here actually on her back, crawling backwards. But I think there's a lot of actual physical gameplay that you see as they're storming into the house. If you look here, it's like the same thing, a fan fabric coming back to you, you shoulder barge your way through the door. But if you look carefully, as they're
We've got the, from the first bit, which is the physicality section, where we've got the grenade, because you've got the grenade that goes off in the room, because this is the first
exactly.
shoulder barge the door.
Yeah, and here you're going to have the grenade going off in that room. You're actually seeing the physicality in the sense of, like, now we have a dynamic sense of where the explosion goes off, now pushes the debris and the destruction in the correct direction, so that there's a whole other level in terms of dynamics to destruction in this game.
So there's also, Nessa, you might know more about this. You know the arm, or the lady's arm with the kind of claw, right? Is that something that people are going to have access to early on in the game, or is that something that's going to become available?
Do you want to have access to it? early on?
Well, you know, I'd quite like to have it first hand. Like claw arm would be quite cool to have. Just like everyone running around with claws.
I mean, everything you see is in the game. So if you want to be able to have a claw, you should be able to have a claw.
Have to claw. Ryan, as well, what's kind of your favourite customization item from the trailer that we've seen?
I think, I mean, the claw arm for me is a good one in that it's just that unexpected moment, and I mean that's going to be one of those things that, you know, players have seen this now and they're going to want it, and then you're going to have to earn it.
It's going to be the first thing everyone's seen. It's going to be like, where is the claw?
I mean, what you're seeing in the trailer here is customization ratcheted all the way up there, and these are the things that we want players to aspire to get to, right? I mean, you're not going to get claw. You know, when you start Battlefield 5, you know that claw arm isn't going to be given to you. You're going to have to work your way and earn it.
Yeah, I really like these stills as well, because it just kind of gives you an idea of the sort of level of customization, because you're going to be able to make it how you want your character to be, how you want your soldier to be. There's going to be so much choice and detail.
I mean, when you look at the guys in these and the girls and the ladies in these photos, it's just that you can see the sort of the story of each one of them sort of emanating from their character. These aren't just sort of some person you've just sort of dressed up. There's some soul in them a bit, and I think that's where the team back in Stockholm was really going with this, is how do we sort of create that feeling of sort of giving your soldiers a soul and the company a soul.
Yeah, I now want to kind of move on from customization to what Daniel was saying, the physicality. Because we talked about that explosion, which we'll see right now, because I just love how the different styles you have and kind of like how the room is going to react to that physical. Like the bodies as well, like how that body's just rolling down the stairs, knocking off all the paintings.
See how he scratches his face towards the wall?
Wait,
yeah, I
Have
think,
you noticed it?
Face towards the wall? Hold on, let's see this.
I think you will see that he's...
So here.
Yeah, did you see that?
So he just kind of like drags his arm across.
Yeah, he goes boom into the wall with the head.
I think the important thing here is to really focus on is the fact that actually that the ragdoll this time around actually has physics to it. So as you see, as the ragdoll is actually tumbling down the stairs, the ragdoll is hitting the painting on the wall, and the painting is falling down. So in previous installations of Battlefield, there hasn't been that type of physical connection between the ragdolls and the world, but now we're actually upping that and bringing that into the game. So if you're, for example, you're standing in front of your teammate and your teammate gets shot and your teammate then is stumbling down the hill, as that teammate is stumbling down the hill, you're going to see the body kicking up dirt, and if the body lands in say like in a puddle of mud at the bottom of the hill, you're going to see the body splashing into that puddle of mud, and you're going to see actual water splashing up. So we're adding physicality to the ragdolls as well.
Yeah, so it's like also you've got it when like the tank drives into the building, which we see when it's kind of coming out. You see the whole building react based on how that tank's hit the building.
Yeah, so that's kind of like a story we're telling here. So basically, imagine that you're sitting in a tank and you're shooting a shell at a house, for example. And if that shell hits the front of the wall, the wall is going to crack and it's going to basically be shot into the house. But if that same shell is being shot through a window and then into the house and the explosion occurs inside the house, it's going to be shot in the opposite direction. We're shot out to you. So the way destruction happens in Battlefield 5 is significantly more dynamic in that sense.
It's going to be incredible. Also, so we've gone into the house for the first time. When you go up the stairs, you might notice the guy in the corner screaming for help. So, Natalie, downstate, what can we know? What's changed in Battlefield 5 to previous games?
I mean, as you said, he's screaming for help. And this time, you know, your squad mate can actually help you and revive you with something that we call body revive. And that is something that is really new to this game.
So if someone's not a medic, they can still pick up their teammate?
Yes, as long as it's your squad mate.
So like helps to encourage the kind of like team play. So if you were that person that kind of just jumped in, left your squad, right, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of guilty of that. Okay, and you kind of do it together so that if you're in cover behind, you can like kind of. This actually, I just remember from the event yesterday, is dragging.
Yes. It's a new addition for Battlefield 5, basically. So you know those moments you're playing the game, and you're basically playing maps like Amiens, maps like Metro. You're often in those scenarios where you find your teammate laying in a hallway of death.
The middle of nowhere, where you're just like, I am never going out there and picking you up. You are having a laugh.
You don't want to rush out there and basically execute a revive there. But in Battlefield 5, you can rush up to that teammate, grab him, and pull him behind cover, and then revive him in the safety of that cover.
And if he's in your squad as well, you don't even have to be a medic. You could be a support. You'd be like, come drag him into cover and then do a squad revive.
Yes, but there is an important distinction between the body revive and the medic, because we still want the medic to be the best at the thing that he does, which is healing and reviving. And we don't want to diminish that part of that class. So the body revive is a significantly longer revive. And the revive is a physical interaction this time around. You actually move up to the player that you're going to revive, and you lean down and you stab them with the syringe, and then you help them up. So you see their face and you see their visual customization. It's the same thing from the perspective from the person that's being revived. You see
it's
the
so
person
much more immersive in the kind
It's much more immersive, and it's much more physical in that sense. So again, a great distinction between body revive. It takes significantly longer to execute, and it doesn't bring you back to full health. And there's also no addition for the medic who can also then obviously heal. He brings people back with full health. And also, he can revive everyone, while his body revive is only secluded as an action, so you can execute within the squad.
So, Ryan, next thing as well, right, after we've done the revives, we've kind of cut the teammate. In the trailer, we just leave him to die. I'm just going to be honest, he's still just there screaming for help. But we then see the movement where he kind of comes sprinting out and jumping out the window. How's that going to work in the game? How are people going to be able to have that flow of movement?
Well, I think a lot of the work that the core gameplay guys have done in terms of the movement system and sort of that physicality and that sort of making things feel realistic and natural and fluid. So as you see here, you've got the guy jumping on the window and hitting the ground, and you know, we want players to sort of have that simulation and sort of and adapt to what's going on in the game. He's probably going to get a little hurt, a little bit. You know, which also, as Dennis says, impacts part of the game with health systems. So you got to make these decisions. You got to be willing to make that decision. That's a choice you're going to have to make, because
he's making a good choice though.
There's no
staying in that house.
But yeah, I mean that's what we really want from this game, is sort of to feel what you're doing. Right? So you see, and you even just watching it, you feel him jumping through that window, and you feel him hitting the ground.
He's
And I think-
executing that cool combat roll as well as he hits the ground, which keeps the momentum going forward as well, which is really, really
And so, like, I think with the vaulting system we're doing, and a lot of the work that guys are doing is as players are sort of running through the world and traversing the world and vaulting over things, just trying to maintain that sense of momentum as players run, so you're not getting in these situations where you run up on a wall and stop, and as you're trying to go over it, you're dead.
No.
Right? So to really sort of like, if you can go over it quickly, and sort of maintain that sort of sense of momentum, and if you're running for cover, get there.
I love the details in the trailer as well. You see people, like players stumbling as well when they're running, and it's just kind of like makes it so much more immersive. And there was that moment as well after jumping out the window, you see the player that was killed originally at the doorway spawn in and do that kind of turn to snipe. So with the as I like to call her, the claw lady, right? So. Which we have here, so which kind of leads into that additional movement, because before you'd kind of, if you wanted to crawl and go prone, you would kind of lie on the floor and then do this weird kind of just 360
turn around
twist.
in place,
Yeah, and then just be like, kind of like, why aren't my legs moving? I want to twist.
Yeah.
But now you have that huge range of movement by lying on your back, and you can kind of rotate how you want. Is that a whole 360-degree rotation, or is it just kind of like you can lie on your back, do it, and then you need to kind of move again?
No, it's full 360-degree, completely seamless. So you'll be laying on your back, and then your character will seamlessly turn over and turn to the stomach, and then turn over to the back again.
Yeah.
And it removes those moments that I think a lot of Battlefield players have had when they're inside and they're proning inside of a building, and they're laying on on the top floor of a small ledge, for example.
Yeah.
And they turn around, and then they turn around, and their legs kind of move them out,
Hit
and
the
they
wall,
fall,
and you're just like,
and-
what's going on?
And they fall over.
Yeah.
And they fall down, and they might die. But now with this new system, we're actually fixing that problem, which is great. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Because like, I think it's one of those things, those additional movements and that kind of ability just makes it so much really exciting from a player's perspective, because it just opens this world of like other things that you can do. Like if you're getting chased by players, go sprinting through a door barge and then just drop to the floor, turn, just wait there with, I think you said with a shotgun.
Yes.
And just like take them out.
That has happened multiple times. I try to recreate that moment in play tests at home every time. Sometimes there's no one coming through the door, I'm just laying there.
Just be like, come on, I'm lying here, I'm ready.
Give me that Battlefield
All right.
moment.
So we've talked about new movements, done a thing, and now I think this is something that a lot of Battlefield players will be quite excited about as well. Is there's a little bit of an old throw to the original Battlefield music track when she kind of hops into the buggy for the first time. You're just like, wait, I know that. So I think we're going to listen to that now quickly, just so you guys that missed it. So hold on, here we go. There it is. It's like, it just makes you feel, it just makes you ready to like charge in and just get like killed, like in my experience anyway.
And I think it's also great that like the way our, how talented the guys are to make our trailers. They're actually like, it's almost like a signature thing.
Yeah.
That we line up the actions in the trailer with the actual music. So you hear like do 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 do, and then you hear the cannon going like
And the flames
same
come
time.
down.
Yeah, it's just beautiful.
And the AA gun goes off in the background, which you may have noticed is being towed by a tank.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, all right, who wants to take that one? Towing by a tank and AA gun, just like casually, just have an AA gun going past. Right, who came up with that?
It was our vehicle designers.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you're just kind of like, well, it seems to make total sense that you should just be able to build your own little mobile anti-aircraft fortress. I mean, I think that's the
little microtrain.
Yeah, it's the little microtrain. I mean,
why not?
Obviously that is the right thing to be able to do. If that's like, I don't think anything gets more Battlefield than that.
No.
I think that's kind of what players sort of expect from us, is sort of delivering these sort of magic moments.
Exactly.
Of course.
The Battlefield moments.
It's perfect as well, because the amount of times that as a tank you'll just have a plane fly over you, drop a bomb on you, and you just be like, great. But now you can like kind of bring a tank, bring an AA gun along with you, and that's never going to happen. So that's like a really cool thing. I can't wait to see like how players like kind of take advantage of that and like help set up fortifications, which we'll get onto and kind of is shown in the trailer as well. But crashes, okay, there is one of the most epic crashes I have seen in this trailer towards, like, just after all, like, you see all these cars, which was one of your favorite moments, kind of falling all over the place. But then with this plane crash here, and something you may notice, so you have the soldier fly out, but in the back seat, the person comes out. So how is that going to work in the game? Does it mean that you can survive a crash, or is it going to be something that we can expect to see quite often?
So we're not actually, I want to kind of keep that a secret for now, I think. I don't want to go into too much details in this particular aspect, but in previous titles you've seen, for example, that when you take out a tank, sometimes you see someone crawling out and so on and so forth. But exactly how it works, you know, let's keep it on the wraps for now. Let's not go into too much detail. It's still early on.
It's still early on?
Yeah.
But Ryan, with all the crashes and explosions going on, what can we kind of expect to see with that in the Battlefield gameplay? Is it something we're going to see more often?
Well, I mean, I think as you see, you take here, vehicles and vehicle explosions and the sort of dynamic we want to have between, for example, tanks and anti-tankers to sort of really making sure that me as, my awesome soldier of, my awesome anti-tank assault soldier has that opportunity to sort of take out Mr. Berlin's tank here.
Yeah.
We really want to make that feel like an epic moment. But, with this trailer, you've basically got, the ultimate Battlefield experience sort of compressed into sort of 30 seconds, a minute of absolute chaos. I mean, what we really want players is to sort of, over their daily session, is to feel what this trailer gives you in sort of 2 minutes.
Yeah. So in the next part of the trailer, we see fortifications. Can you tell us a little bit more about how fortifications are going to work in Battlefield 5?
Yeah, so I think for me, this is my favorite feature. I think that Berlin and the guys are really working on is that every player who plays, every player on the battlefield is going to have access to a toolbox. That toolbox is going to allow them to build fortifications, and the guys have the map designers have basically laid out a whole bunch of different opportunities throughout the map to sort of build up these fortifications. So you drive a tank through a building, you're going to be able to go and sort of refortify that building, sort of board up the windows, and then sort of refortify the doors to make sure you've got a place to find some cover. There'll be opportunities and choke points as players run towards map to sort of build that situation where you can kind of really hold and play defense against the flags and all that kind of things, and build up, build around the flags those resource stations that sort of are key to the sort of war of attrition that we've been working on as well.
Yeah. Also, is there going to be a specific class that'll be able to build fortifications quicker, or because you said everyone's got access to it, so is there going to be a special class that will be able to fortify quicker? Well,
so what we're doing here is that we're saying, so from Battlefield 1, everybody had the gas mask, right?
Yep.
So we're changing that out. So now every single player on the battlefield will have access to a toolkit. You can bring it out and you can start building. But the support player, he is the most efficient person to execute this job, basically. He builds faster and he has larger utility. He can build more things. He is the class, for example, that can set up machine guns, for example. So yes, but I mean, the mentality here that we're really pushing is to give a lot of variety in terms of like what you can build. So anything that you would consider like a military type of fortification, we're talking sandbags, we're talking barbed wire, we're talking tank stoppers, we're talking trenches, we're talking foxholes with mounted machine guns and sandbags. I mean, there's more to it that we're not going to talk about right now, even more awesome stuff.
Damn it!
I know it sucks, but we can't reveal everything on reveal day.
That's a shame. Why not? Why not?
Right? I mean,
yeah.
It's just like being a massive tease. It's like it's all here for you to look at, but we can't tell you everything.
It's going to be completely playable as EA Play, though.
That's why I'm excited for it. I've now got on my calendar going like counting down the days to EA Play, and I'm going to be so happy. I'm just going to be sat there, and then you're going to have to like prise me off the chair.
But really, this is a system that completely changes how Battlefield is played.
Yeah.
It just it mirrors so well with the existing destruction system, where sometimes as a player you can level the play field and be like, oh, there's not enough cover left. But with this system, we actually marry it with the destruction system. So now you can bring cover back and build additional fortifications to bring that cover back. And it's really, really cool.
Yeah, so I'll talk about cool as well. The next bit is when the UI kind of kicks in, overlays, and you get the movement for the first time. You get the guns firing for the first time from that first-person perspective. There is this amazing, like, kind of slide you get where you're shooting. Can you tell us a little bit more about this bit of gameplay?
I think one interesting thing that you will see if you really, really get down to the nitty-gritty details of this trailer, because you will find all the small details if you watch it multiple times, because there's so much hidden in here. But I think something that we're alluding to in this shot is that this machine gun is an MG42, which is an absolute beast. And this thing has a big ammo pack, but it's still being reloaded. So what's going on here, really? And this is the fact that we're actually introducing this whole new meta layer of gameplay of the war of attrition. That actually, in this game, you will have to be mindful of your resources. So it's a whole new mindfulness of resource management that comes in and sits on top of the existing Battlefield experience.
It's going to be a stressful experience for me because I just kind of spray and pray. Like that's kind of my.
Well, I mean, like Ryan said earlier, it's just like now with the fact that you can maybe carry less ammunition, for example, we're also giving you the ability to receive ammunition to a much larger extent.
Yeah.
Of course, you can get ammunition from the support player. That's one of his primary roles. But you can also, using the fortification system that we just talked about, you can build resupply stations on all flags. And on those resupply stations, you can refill ammo, refill gadgetry, refill explosives, and you can also heal up. And another really cool addition is that every enemy you kill will drop ammo. So it's the capability for you to actually take that risk of running out into the battlefield and picking up and looting ammo from corpses.
Ah, okay,
So much stuff you missed in the trailer.
Okay, all right. You don't have to keep rubbing it in. I know. That's why you guys are here. We're actually going to go on to your favourite moment, actually, because there is a moment in the trailer where you see a grenade getting picked up.
Yeah.
For the first time. Do you want to talk us through the clip? Because I was quite excited when I saw this, because the first time you see it, I had no idea what was going on.
Well, as you can see, there's obviously someone tossing like a grenade towards you, and your guy here picks it up and tosses it back, and you shoot it, it explodes, and the plane comes and takes the plane down.
So you can shoot grenades out of the sky,
Yes.
right? So you see a grenade throwing at you and you've got an incredible shot, you can shoot it out of the sky and you're going to survive.
Well, assuming that you will throw it away fast enough, otherwise you will just hold it.
Just hold it, yeah, just like, they're going like, all right, this is going to go downhill. Like, the thing is, that's really exciting for me, just because there's so many situations and sometimes when you're on an objective and you've just got grenades flying in, you just want to throw it back down the corridor. So that's going to be a really cool addition. But if we move on to the next thing, we've talked about the MG42, because there is this epic clip as well, where you just see, I think the physicality comes into play as well again, where you just see all the bodies dropping. So if we take a look at this clip, so that's where we pick up the MG42 weapon customization, but here is amazing.
Just the sound of this weapon is so iconic for the era.
Yeah.
You know, it's such an iconic weapon for World War II. It's and I mean, like you said, visual customization in this game, we're bringing it to a completely new level, be it how you want to customize your soldier, how you want to be customizing your vehicles, how you want to be customizing your weapons. So it's all contributed towards you building your own company. Your company that plays the way you want it to play and looks the way you want it to look. That's the key here.
Yeah, so with the MG42 as well, because in the reveal you talked about high caliber weapons, would you count the MG42 as a high caliber weapon?
It is definitely that. And I mean,
you know, I'm just double checking, you know, just like,
Listen to the sound
not
of it.
really. Yeah.
Cutting
It's
through
crazy.
people.
No, but that's actually something interesting here that we're adding in terms of gameplay depth, to have it also like a larger variety between the different archetypes of weapons that we have in the game. And something that we're giving to the support player and something that we're giving to the LMGs in general is their ability to apply bullet penetration to a much larger extent. So if you're a support player this time around, you can, for example, execute a motion that is like you're building a fortification that is, say, sandbags, for example, and then you can mount your MG on top of that. And if then you see a bunch of enemies scurrying inside a house to hide, they can't hide anymore in there because your bullets will just rip straight through that house and just take them out. So that just gives so much more power to the bipodded, bipodded LMG and the support player.
You can hear the panic already of just people in the house going like, there's bullets flying through the walls.
It is.
Just going, hit the floor, hit the floor.
It's pretty hairy for them inside because you see smoke everywhere. It's just, you know, like, what's going on? And most of the time they just jump out of windows. Just like crash through the windows and just get out of there.
Yeah.
And then more than often than not, there's a tiger waiting outside ready to.
It sounds like just a living nightmare, just like of this death. Which, talking about the sound, we talked about the sound of the MG42, one of the most iconic sounds from World War II, V1 rocket. Like, can we just hear it before we look at it? Because the sound. That's the rockets! You hear that in Battlefield 5, you're just gonna freak out because we just see it. It just causes so much devastation. How are players going to go about earning this?
So so this is part of the our new reinforcement system. I mean, players play the game. You play together as a squad. You're going to earn these ability to call in these iconic weapons of World War II that sort of really give you that sort of benefit for playing as a team.
So you're going to be encouraged to kind of like always stick with your squad, like revive. It's going to be from previous battlefields, same way of earning squad points, but they'll be able to earn squad reinforcements, so resupplies, vehicles, the V1 rocket. We also see that knockback, which we keep coming back to it, the physicality.
Yeah.
Is that going to happen to everyone within the area, or is it just going to happen to the enemy team, or will everyone be affected?
No, I mean, if you're within the shockwave vicinity of that V1, you're going to be put on your ass, pretty much. If it's a friendly one, it won't necessarily kill you, but it will put you on your ass. I mean, basically, that's the beauty of this and how we're looking at the overhaul movement system, that's something that just puts you into a state where now you're in that, on your back, and you're able to, backpedal and then move again. So like it just seamlessly blends into the other systems that we built. So yes, shockwaves in general will have a much larger impact and on players on the battlefield.
So Natalie, towards the end of the trailer as well, in the background we see paratroopers coming down. Is there anything else you can tell us about that? Are we going to be able to kind of jump from the air, kind of like?
Well, yes, there will be paratroopers in this game, and I mean, it's going to be in one of the game modes that we have.
Airborne.
Yeah, airborne.
Airborne game mode.
So yes, definitely. We'll be able to jump out, maybe shoot at some enemies, who knows?
So is the same with like ground operations as well? Or?
It's a part of the ground operation offering. So it's in ground operations is our new take on historically inspired battles. A fan favorite from Battlefield 1. We're bringing it back to Battlefield 5. But we're changing the formula. We're changing the formula, and we're introducing the concept of fictional days that you're going to go for. Each day is represented by one game mode, and it takes about an hour to play through.
Yeah.
But the airborne game mode is all about that fantasy of being the paratrooper, of actually standing in the door of that airplane and being able to look out and decide when you want to actually make that jump. And it's not just for the first spawn. Every time you die, you're back up into those airplanes.
Gonna go through. Can you get shot out from when you're like coming down as well? If someone's got like an incredible sniper shot, you're just kind of like going down, just get taken out of the sky.
I think the most vicious thing you got to watch out for is the combination of this sort of system we're talking about, towables.
Yeah.
Like you can now be towing an anti-air gun, so you don't know where you're gonna be. So if you're really, it's like if you're lucky and you're good, you could be actually the guy sitting in an anti-air gun taking down one of those carrier airplanes, and those can carry a lot of players at the same time. And they're going to be noticing, it's like, we're taking damage, we got to go, jump.
I'd be freaking out. It's going to be amazing to play. I can't wait. But one of the big things as well with Battlefield 5 is EA Access, which is going to give players on the Xbox One, if they've got EA Access, early access on the 11th of October, which is pretty exciting. So 11th of October, if you've got EA Access on Xbox One, you can pick up and play Battlefield 5 on October 11th. Big thing though as well, is it Xbox One X enhanced?
It is. It will definitely be. We're not going to spoil anything and go into any details, obviously.
I think you've got my attention already. It's just like, is there anything else you can tell us? Is there anything at all? But no, it's really exciting to see that it's going to be Xbox One X enhanced. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be beautiful. But that trailer has been exceptional. I've watched it so many times already. Like I love it. Like, and as Natalie was saying earlier as well, that you just notice something different every time. Yeah. So for those of you that are watching at home, just keep watching it. Try pick up different things. Let us know as well if you spot anything that we might have missed out in this breakthrough, this trailer breakdown. But yeah, I think we should have a look one last time at the trailer. And thank you very much for Ryan, Daniel, Natalie for talking us through it. Really appreciate it. But let's take a look at that trailer one last time.
Grenade! I got your back! That's the rocket!
Fuck it! Hello, old friend.
Games play best on Xbox One.